still slots to be filled. So I think everybody needs to pump the brakes and just wait and see what happens.
Do you think Democrats are putting form over substance?
Absolutely. Look, even if you look at how the Democrats filled the Joe Biden cabinet, they wanted to have a piece of every identity, but did they get the job done? Did they actually serve the interest of the American people? Because here's what I know. Whether you black or Hispanic, if the border is unsecure, excuse me, Alejandro Mayorkas, if the border is unsecure, does that help people in their everyday lives? No, it does not. And so what Donald Trump's election is about is bringing...
Exactly. Whether you're black, blue, orange, white, green, or red, it truly doesn't matter. Whether it doesn't matter whether or not your kids are dealing with fentanyl in their elementary schools and middle schools and have to fight off zombies from their bus ride or walk home from school. Is that like the same? Is that the economy or environment you want to raise your kids in? Border patrol, border security is something that, regardless of gender, race, or anything like that, it's a serious matter.
Incompetency and reality back to D.C. in the White House, making sure that the job gets done on behalf of the American people, regardless of their race, regardless of their religion, regardless of their creed.
Do you think that the current cabinet picks reflect the most competent implementers of Trump's policy across the board?
100%.
Because you have no pause for any of the people who are being raised, including some who are more controversial figures who've gotten a lot of the oxygen out of the room. Obviously, Matt Gaetz, a centerpiece of criticism because of the allegations. Right. But you don't have any pause about anyone who's been chosen?
No, I don't, because either I know them directly or I've gotten a chance to know them throughout the last several months. All of them subscribe to everything that Donald Trump talked about on the campaign trail. They are mission-minded about getting the job done. Look at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to make America healthy again. He wants to go after additives in our food that are here in the United States, but not in any other country around the globe. You have suburban mothers who want to see that happen for their children. You have people who've had to deal with all kind of other health abnormalities, and at the time, and now what they're dealing with is going to other doctors, finding other alternatives to address those health issues, finding out it's what they're ingesting every single day. He's going to address that. You have somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, who has not been a fan of forever wars, which, by the way, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, you've not been a fan of forever wars. She's going to be advising him when it comes to national intelligence. These are the picks that he's put in who are going to actually help him implement his agenda. His success as president, this is the 47th president, is going to be on addressing all the concerns of the American people that obviously they had, because if they didn't have that, he wouldn't have the political mandate he's enjoying right now.
Well, let me ask you, because I remember when your name came up as a potential speaker of the House. Right. There were many who speculated that based on the prominent role you played in this campaign and election, that your name would have skyrocketed to at least the front of the line. We are several cabinet picks in. Are you not surprised that you have not been named? Have you had a conversation about being a part of the administration at all?
All I will say is I am not surprised that I have not been named, but that does not mean I'm not going to do other things in the future.
Has he asked you?
No, there's some other things that I'm looking at going forward.
Like?
I'm not going to talk about them now.
We do this every time.
We're not going to break news now.
I'm sorry, but I gotta interrupt her. Like, the fact that she was trying to just be so messy and poke that at him. Well, have they asked you? How would you feel if the cabinet goes by without one black selection? Like, listen, the people he selected, if they're going to make the right changes that we as American people need, what does it matter if they're black, if they're blue, if they're green, or if they're orange? And the fact that she's melanated, it just makes it even much more messier. The fact that, they haven't asked you yet, have they? What that make you feel like? And it's just so raunchy, and the fact that they're sitting up there on CNN and she's still being that messy and mixy I mean, I don't like it personally, but that's just me.
I'd like to ask you, Governor of Florida, Senator, perhaps if Marco Rubio is confirmed, or any of those spots enticing to you?
We'll see what happens as things go forward.
Do you have support for the name Laura Trump that's been circling around as a potential person who would step in if Senator Marco Rubio were to ascend to the role that he has been chosen for?
So actually, I think Laura would do a great job as a U.S. Senator for Florida. I got a chance to really know her through the whole campaign process. Number one, excellent communicator, one of the best in our party. Number two, really knowledgeable about policy. Number three, her personal businesses that she's been involved in, different projects that she's done. She knows how to get things done, bring people around her to be successful. At the end of the day, you want to be a representative of the ideals of the state of Florida. Laura Trump is an example of that.
So just to be clear, and I remember the barbershops you had gone through, you talked to many black voters, black male voters specifically on the campaign trail. If the current trend stands and there is not a single black cabinet member named, you'd be fine with that?
Look, what I want right now is for the agencies of the federal government to do their job and no more, and to actually fix the ills that have been going wrong in our country. The voters spoke loud and clear 2 weeks ago. This was an avalanche. This was a political mandate for Donald Trump. And it's very clear that they want our border secured. They want a thriving economy. They want to be able to get out of these conflicts across the globe. And yes, people want to be energy dominant here in America. And if the cabinet picks help deliver the America First agenda that Donald Trump wants, this will be an unmitigated success. And every American will be happy with that.
I wonder if voters will see.
He answered that so well. He literally answered that so well. She said, wait, you aren't going to crash out if the selections fill up and you haven't been asked, or no black people haven't been asked? You're not going to crash out and shoot up the block like black people do? And he answered that so well. He said, hey, we just seen the election results, right? We just seen that it was a landslide. The young people showed up in record numbers. Latino Americans, African Americans, everyone showed up in favor of Trump. So regardless of how I might feel about if a black person was put in the cabinet or not, we're going to have change for American people. Whether that's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, whether it's getting fentanyl off the streets. That's an amazing thing. But the fact that she wanted to point out that specific thing and try to harp on that and get that out of him, it was just very messy, and I don't like it. But it speaks to that side. It speaks to that side, genuinely. And that's why it's imperative that we do what we can to make sure that we kind of counterbalance or cancel out that type of stuff. Because when y'all share this, when we get this type of content out there, the people that are misinformed, the people that are indoctrinated and programmed, they see it and they be like, nah, they get to formulate their own judgment, right? So again, man, we want to appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all for hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button.
The same way. I want to talk about this House Ethics Committee, though. They have not chosen to release the report that was compiled by the House